How's it going, guys? In this video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the shade structure here. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you about the storm that this thing went through. So it did survive a storm, if you were wondering that. But let's get right into this video. I'm at Plant Daddy Express here. Last year, we had a bad drought. A lot of these plants that I have here turned brown. They turned crispy. Had some good losses. And I needed some relief from the hot sun and just to give these plants a little bit of a break. And but anyways, I'm using 2 shade cloths here. These things are supposed to be 20 foot wide by 48 foot long, but we stretched the first one out. My dad helped me a lot on this project. We stretched the first one out and it was around 49 foot by 22 foot. So if you're wanting to do this, don't look at the dimensions and assume that it's going to be perfect, because this thing is going to be stretched a lot. We're using steel cables going from telephone pole to telephone pole. We tried tightening these a lot with the turnbuckles there, but basically you have a lot of bow everywhere, as you can see. And to hold up the cloth, we're pretty much using steel cables again, basically going across from telephone pole to telephone pole. And so basically, as far as materials, we just got a 200 count thing of carabiners, the cheapest ones. You could definitely go with some more expensive ones, and that might help save you some headaches. And a lot of these did break, and they were already broke when we got them. The steel cable wasn't very expensive. This is 1/8, I believe. And other than that, the turnbuckles weren't very expensive. They were a couple bucks each, and we're not really using that much. And so the shade cloths, we're just using 2 of those, and those were like 70 bucks or so. And we were wanting to use a steel cable going across through the center, but with the way that this is already going in a lot, I believe that would have made it terrible. It would be sagging so much with all that weight, and the poles would be bending inwards too much. But we are going to put in a telephone pole in the center to hold that up. So basically, we had a storm. I was up north driving home. I had to slow way down to like 30 miles an hour because of the rain. It was so bad. The wind was bad. And but then as I got closer to home, it started getting drier and drier. But the wind was really bad. There was thunder, there was lightning. And so basically, there just wasn't very much water. And the water will hold this thing down a little bit. And so that's basically kind of a good thing, because it shows you that this thing can handle serious wind. And but basically, with the water, if it's raining, which it typically is if it's storming, then that'll only help this thing. The only thing is, this right here ripped a tiny bit, but I'm gonna put some more carabiners holding that in place. And so it's not just 2 carabiners holding that, and the telephone pole should help a little bit. I feel like this shade structure is almost sagging a little bit more, but I still have a foot of gap even on a windy day above my head. And over here we've got so much room. But this whole thing is a lot more cheaper than if you were to buy a shade structure. If you were to buy a shade structure of this size, I mean, these things go for $10,000 or more sometimes. But if you were to buy something like this, it might be a little bit cheaper, but it's still probably going to be thousands of dollars, especially if you're buying the structure like brand new. But this structure here was $100. Someone came to me and said that they had the parts for it, and the shade cloth was like 40 or 50 bucks. But this is my hosta house. I've got ferns and all the shade loving plants in here, but the shade structure here was put up not too long ago. But that's going to be the end of the video. If you guys have anything to add to the conversation, comment below, and follow my Facebook page, subscribe, and watch my other videos. Thanks.